Today on Too Many Projects Garage, we're working on my friend Kevin's Buick Lucerne. We got to replace some leaky pipes. Stay tuned. Giddy. So apparently Kevin, he's been driving this car and he's having to put coolant in seemingly how much every...
Twice a week.
Twice a week. Oof. And it's leaking out of these little, there's two little T's, or well, angles, that they leak out of. And so he bought these to replace them, little Dorman ones. And it doesn't seem too hard to replace. We watched a video on it on a different YouTube channel. And we just got to take most of this off here. Luckily enough, it's all just really easily accessible bolts to get to, so we're going to get on that here in a second. Got to pet a cat first though, because he likes the warmth. The engine's still a little warm from earlier. He's a big fan. It's comfy. You can't be in here when the car starts though, okay? Can't be in here. We don't want you to get chewed up in the belts or something, because that happens. It's not cool when it does. Got my gloves on, and we got to take this cover off and this little oil fill. It just turns like that, pops right out. Pretty easy to do. And then scooch, kitty, scooch. Come on. I know it's warm, but all right. Then we got to lift this up, and this comes right off. Pretty easy. I like how easy that is. It actually goes into this little little thing there. Little. So that, you know, it's not even screwed on, which is really nice. I like that. So got that off. Now what we got to do, take the belt off. Once the belt's off, we got to take the alternator out, and then we got to take off this little housing here, the water pump housing, right there. And I think it's like a lot of 15 millimeter bolts. So we go get a wrench. First thing we're gonna do is pull this belt off, the serpentine belt. You're just gonna get a 15, put it on the tensioner here, and just push forward or towards the back of the vehicle. And then that gets the belt off fairly easy. So you gotta get the belt out of the way. We'll put it on, back on later. And now we gotta take this little brace here off. Looks like it's also 15. Should be easy to get loose. Flip it off here. I can just finger loosen it here. And luckily enough, there's a convenient shelf right there to put all the tools, all the bolts and stuff you take off. How nice. Gotta love that. All right. Dang it. Oh well, we'll pick that up in a minute. Whoopsie. All right. We got to take this off here. Looks like it's a 10. And then some more 15s. Fun times. We'll come back to you in a minute. We got the two bolts out. Well, one nut and one bolt here. And then now we can start on getting this alternator out. And it looks like it's like at least one bolt, and you have to take off this other nut right here. There's a nut here, which is like a stud nut combo, and then there's this one here. It looks like there's just two, this one and this one. So that should be pretty easy to do. Though I do need a deep socket for that one, so I'm gonna go grab a deep socket. All right, guys, so we got this off here. So we'll pull that off. Use the deep socket 15. Pretty easy to get off. Just gotta wiggle it out of there, and then this one comes out as well. And that should give us access to the alternator, which looks like we could just take this little plug out right here, which you should be able to just squeeze and it pop out, but I don't know if it's gonna be that easy for me. Electrical plugs are always a pain in the neck. Shoot. We'll come back to that here in a second. This should theoretically just come out unless I'm missing another bolt, which I very well could be. Oh yeah, there's another one right here too, as you can see. Yeah. I had to take out this connector here, and the trick for me is to just get a little screwdriver, put between the little spot there and it pops up, and then you can just pull it right out. And then now we'll leave this connected and we'll just bring this over here for temporary storage, so that's the way it's out of the way. Now we can access the water pump housing tensioner. And it looks like there's 1, 2, maybe, oh yeah, 3 15s, 2 by the tensioner and then 1 behind here. And then that'll loosen this up so we can get access to the little hoses. There's the two little elbows right here, and then there's one down here. So let's get that done. We got a light, made it a little easier for us to see. So if you look down here, we've got this bolt here, comes right out. This bolt right out, and luckily enough, they are the same exact length, so it makes it life a lot easier, because that does matter in certain areas. Same thing with that one. They're all the same length. There's 3 of them. Now, as you can see, we got it loose, it jiggles, and so what you want to do is just pull up on this, and that's going to allow us to get those little right angles out, and it's a little warm, so you're gonna have to wiggle it very gently. You don't want to like wiggle it too hard, because otherwise you might break off the plastic, because they're already damaged, right? They're already brittle. You want to be careful not to oh, there goes some, actually, you know what, we probably should shove that back in, and let's grab a pan, put underneath. We got this one out already. This one on the bottom is going to be a little bit more fun. I'm not exactly sure the angle which I should pull it up at. I think it should just come up or out, maybe. One of the two. Got that one out. It's gonna leak all the coolant everywhere. Okay, there you go. All right, let's pick that up. Get that out of the way. So you see one of them here. Let's gently. Oh, see how easily it broke off? I barely did any, and look, it was already cracked right there. So that definitely was the problem. You can probably hold it in the light a little bit better. Look, you can see that big old crack there. And it broke like it was nothing, so definitely the issue. So we got to pick that out of there, which is going to be fun. I'm not looking forward to that part. This one I think should be fairly easy to get out. And if you need to fill up your power steering fluid, do it while you're here, because it'll be easy. Okay, this one came out really easy. There goes all the coolant. Luckily I have a jug down there, so. This one wasn't as bad a shape, but you know, we're gonna replace both. Actually, no, it was, look. This is just cracked all off. So we're gonna have to pull chunks out of this one and that one. Fun. Got the first one out. I had to use a screwdriver and a hammer to kind of chisel one part in half, and then I was able to pull it out without too much of an issue. Now we just need to make sure this is clean, this bore is clean, so that way the new one will seal. It looks okay. I didn't scratch it up or anything, which is nice. And then now we got to get on this this bottom one. It's way down in there. Let's get a light so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see it's not a lot that's broken off in there, but there definitely is some broken off, which we got to get rid of in order to use the new one. So fun times. Got that nice and cleared out, so there's no debris in there anymore. And then this one's cleared out, no debris in there either. And then of course, these other ones, we'll have to verify on these just to double check and make sure there's no debris in those, but I'm fairly confident there's not any, because it seems like the other ones came out without breaking in half, but we'll double verify just to be sure. All right, so actually there was one that was broken out under this intake right there. This one was fine. This one actually came out. This is the only one that survived being pulled out of the motor, but it's kind of thick, as you can see. It seems like it would hold up well. So it's time to put it all back together, assuming we have the right parts. You never know. So we've got these two parts here. Now, he didn't go with the metal ones, just mainly because they were more expensive, and they lasted this long, right? So they should last at least another 100,000 miles, you'd think, right? And they're probably built a little bit better than they were from the factory. Worst case scenario, it's not that hard of a job. You can replace them with the metal ones down the line at some point too. So let's go ahead and get these on. We're gonna put a little bit of grease on each of the O-rings, so that way it'll slide right on in, and then we'll button everything back together. So I got these both in here, so let's go ahead and you gotta get them lined up so that way they slide in, but it's kind of a, they kind of will register exactly where you need them to be. Just be careful, since these are still plastic, they may need a... And they have a lot of play on how they seat, so you can wiggle it around. Okay, look, that one's in. And this one should be in any second now. If it's not already in. It might already be in. No. It's kind of hard to see this one. That's the fun part. Okay, I think they're in. So now we gotta get all the bolts back together. Easy. All right, guys, so now it's just doing the reverse of everything we just did. I've already got the bolts in for the water pump housing. That's all back in. I'm gonna put the alternator back on, plug it back in, obviously, and then put this brace back on. I gotta find the nut that fell down there. That's like the only thing I dropped. So, and I think it's down on the cross member down there, and that's gonna make it a pain in the butt to get to, but that's the last thing that we had to worry about, so. Should be easy. I might just take the tire off and access it that way, but yeah, this is all pretty straightforward. Just do the reverse of what you did, taking it apart. And we'll be back with you once it's all together. All right, so got the belt back on, tensioned. All right, guys, we're gonna be putting in the coolant in here and in there, get it topped off, and we're gonna open this little bolt here, which should allow some air to escape as we put it in. We're gonna run it a little bit without this on or this open, so that way it'll circulate and try to get some of the bubbles out of the system. So we're gonna go ahead and fill this up, and then we'll get it started. Our little shop cat's back out as we're filling up the coolant. It's a very friendly cat, extremely friendly, to the point where you're like, what are you so friendly for? Leave us alone. But we like him. We like him. His name is, we call him Garfield. I don't know what his original name was. He kind of was just like an adopted cat, but showed up on our front porch, and we've been feeding him and taking care of him because he's just too nice not to. He's just too nice not to. All right, are we out of coolant?
Yep, out of coolant. Reservoir's full, so.
Okay, well, cool.
Let's see where it goes.
Let's put the cat back on. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, let's power her up, get her running. Get that nice and tight. Let's put this little oil thing back on so it doesn't splash. All right, go ahead and start her up. She woe, she do. Kitty, better get out of the way. Not yet. All right. Watch for any kind of leaks, coolant leaks, anything like that. Got to turn the light on so we can see. Still damp from before, but I don't see any active drips or anything like that as far as I can tell. Looks good. So we'll let this run for a little bit, and we'll make sure there's enough coolant in the system, but I think we're good to go. Not bad. Oh, yeah, we're getting air out. I think we'll let that, let me tighten that back down, because I think we got all the air out, so sweet. Let me tighten that back up. All right, cool. Let's shut that off. We'll check for air after driving it a little bit and make sure it's full. But one thing we noticed, you know, as we were working on this, we noticed that the this is like falling to pieces. Look at that. It's like nothing's left. So he's gonna get some tape to put on it, is the idea, and wrap it back up, because the only thing that's left is the electrical tape. The actual plastic stuff is just like falling to pieces. It almost looks like rat turds, but it's like just the plastic instead, you know, which is pretty bad. But anyways, everything else runs great, perfect. Might be a couple leaks here and there, but for the most part, it's nice, man. I like it. It's a great car. You just take a look at it a little bit. You know, if you're a fan of Buicks, this is a pretty good one. It's got the nice, like, soft, kind of like, what do you call that? I don't know what you call a soft top, but it's not really a soft top. What do you call it? Velour top or something? I don't know what they call it. Interior's really, really nice. You can kind of see in there. Well, not really, but got nice tinting on it too. How many miles does it have on it?
118.
118, which is not bad, really. You got it from an old grandma.
Yep, not for the 3.8. Forever.
Yeah, these are great engines, man. I don't know why the plastic's all coming apart on that, but yeah, let's go ahead and put that back on. We don't have to take this off. I don't think the oil, like, oh, you can kind of, hey, you can kind of see the valves doing their thing in there. It's kind of cool. If we get a light on it, we can see it even better. Look at that. That's kind of neat. You can see the valves tippity tapping in there. Kind of neat. All right, let's go ahead and shut this back up. You got to slide it in, the little thingy back there. Hold on. You gotta get that slid in. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. Nope. Normally it's easy. There you go. Trying to do it with the camera in my hand and it's not as easy. Boom. Success. All cleaned up. May need to take it to a car wash and clean it down a little bit, but yeah. Other than that, you know, it's not bad. It sounds nice and smooth. No rattles, no taps. Awesome. I love it. Well, good. That's going to be it for this episode of Too Many Projects Garage. We got another successful project out of the way. And we have another reliable vehicle on the road. Good stuff. I want to thank my members. And I also want to thank my subscribers, viewers. Appreciate you guys for watching. And have a Merry Christmas if this is not Christmas yet when you watch this. And if it already was, then I hope you had a great one. I'll see you guys next time on Too Many Project Garage.